Assalamualaikum and a very good morning to everyone. We are from Group 5 and today we will be talking about economic growth model, Solow versus Endogenous growth theory. I am Iffahlina, the moderator for today's session and also the first speaker. Joining me in this discussion are Danial, Siti, Aishah and Haris. Each of us will share different parts of this topic. So now, let me begin with the first part. I will talk about the key feature of the Solow growth model first. The Solow growth model was introduced by an economist named Robert Solow. It explains how an economic grows over the long term by focusing on three main inputs: capital, labor, and technology. They are the key feature of production that influence growth. Let me briefly explain each of these. Firstly, capital refers to physical assets like machine and building used in production. Labor means the workforce, the people who contribute to producing goods and services. And the lastly is technology. Technology includes innovation or new ideas that help improve how efficiently these resources are used. These three inputs work together to shape long-term economic growth, especially technology, which play a key role in increasing productivity over time. We will explore more about that in the next session. So overall, these are the key features of the Solow growth model. We have seen how capital, labor, and especially technology play important roles in driving economic growth. But now, let's take a closer look at the role of technology itself. I will pass it on to Dani to explain more.
Okay, so thank you, Ifa. As Aishah have said, technology plays a central role in explaining long-run economic growth. So it focuses on how three main factors contribute to the economic output, which is GDP, which are capital, labor, and technology. In the absence of technological process, output per worker eventually reaches a steady state where it stops growing. With technological process, output per worker can grow continuously over time. So next role of technology is exogenous technological progress. Assume technology grows at constant exogenous rate. In the Solow model, technological progress is considered exogenous, which means that it comes from outside the model. The model does not explain how or why it happens, and it treated as a given, growing at a constant rate over time. So what exogenous technological progress mean for growth? First is sustained long-run economic growth. Without it, growth per worker eventually stops. Next is explain difference in growth rates. In the basic Solow model, countries with the same savings and population growth rates but different GDP will grow at a different long run rates. Next is the limits of capital accumulation. Adding more capital such as machine buildings yields diminishing returns. Only technological progress can ensure continuous improvement in productivity and living standards. And the last role of technology in Solow model is technology offsets diminishing returns to capital. So what this means is in the model, capital accumulation, which adding more machines or tools suffers from diminishing returns. Eventually, just adding more capital doesn't increase output by much, but with better technology, each unit of capital and labor becomes more productive, considering those diminishing returns. So these are the three roles of technology in Solow's models. Now I will pass back to Ifa.
Thank you, Dani, for your wonderful explanation. Now let's move on to the second subtopic. Siti, could you share your points with us?
Yes, for Daniel, I agree with you. And to continue my point on endogenous growth theory, this model was developed by Paul Romer in the 1980s and explained how long-term economic growth can come from within the economy itself. It highlights the importance of human capital, which includes skills, education, and experience as the engine of innovation and knowledge sharing across industries. In Romer's view, a well-educated workforce not only creates new ideas, but also helps spread them throughout different regions and sectors. Investment in education doesn't just help individuals, it strengthens the entire economy by increasing productivity and resilience over time. Furthermore, innovation and research and development are at the heart of sustaining growth. New products, processes, and technologies improve efficiency, and although firms invest expecting returns, society also benefits from spillover effects. Lastly, government can play a big role in supporting this growth through R&D subsidies, tax incentives, and partnerships. With that, I'll pass it to the next person.
Thank you, Siti, for your great points. Now, we will move on to Aishah with her subtopic.
Okay, so for my opinion, firstly, I agree with Siti because Roma's theory show that long-term growth come from the within the economy, not just outside factor. So, did you know that the Solow growth model and endogenous growth theory offer the different perspective on the source and drivers of economic growth? So, first of all, in Solow model, technological progress is considered exogenous, which is occurs outside the model and is unaffected by economic decision. In contrast, the endogenous growth theory which views technology as an internal outcome shaped by factors such as research and development, R&D, education, and innovation. So when it comes to the drivers of long-term growth, the Solow model emphasizes external technological advancement and not from within the economy, while the endogenous approach highlights the role of deliberate investment and policy choice within the economy. Additionally, The Solow model assumes diminishing return to capital, which limits sustained growth. And on the other hand, endogenous growth theory allows for constant or even increasing returns by supporting knowledge spillover and innovation. Last but not least, policy plays a limited role in the Solow model, which is by affecting only the level of income, not in long-term growth. Why the endogenous approach see government policy, education, and R&D as key instrument for maintaining long-term economic growth. So that's all for me.
Interesting, Aishah. Now let's move on to our last speaker, Haris. And Haris, before we end, maybe you can give a short summary of the key point we have covered today.
All right, sure. So thanks, Aishah. I'll start with the policy implication first. I think a comparison of long-term growth predictions really sets a stage for what I want to add next. Building on that, I like to highlight first the role of institutions and also incentives in shaping long-term growth, particularly through the lens of endogenous growth theory. While physical and human capital are important, innovation doesn't occur in a vacuum. Endogenous theory emphasizes that sustained growth depends heavily on the environment in which innovation happens, and that means the right incentives must be in place. For example, policies like intellectual property rights can encourage entrepreneurs to innovate, knowing their work will be protected. Governments can also support R&D through research grants, tax breaks, or subsidies. These are all tools to steer resources into higher impact sectors. But it's not just about funding, it's about designing a system that rewards innovation, reduces uncertainty for investors, and also encourages long-term thinking. Without that, even with high investment in education or technology, growth may stop. So, to sustain long-term growth, especially in a fast-changing global economy, policymakers must look behind physical inputs and focus on creating strong, reliable institutions that empower innovation from the ground up. So, as a summary, today we explored how economics grow in the long run through two major models, Solow's and the endogenous growth theory. Solow's model shows that capital and labor alone can't sustain growth forever. Technological progress, through treated as external, is essential to keep output rising. Endogenous growth theory, on the other hand, brings that progress inside the model. It tells us that the human capital, R&D, and also innovation are truly what truly drive long-term growth, and these are shaped by policy decisions and also institutional supports. So overall, while Solow helps us understand the limits of capital accumulation, the endogenous model shows us how governments can actively shape the future by investing in education, research, and also systems that reward innovation. That's why long-run growth isn't just about how much we invest, but what we invest in and how we structure our incentive. That's all from me. I'll pass back to Ifah.
All right, thank you very much, Haris, for the insightful summary and your point. And I think I want to thanks to everyone for your valuable contribution. That's conclude our forum today. Have a great day ahead, everyone.